Okay, you're not telling me you love me. That means you don't love me.
I was like, oh my God, this is going down. There's a reason when you look at a golden retriever and a pit bull, you have a different visceral reaction.
Stop for a second, and I sat there by the water, because I was by this water, and I thought to myself, Jarrad, you're just going to jump in. Welcome back to the Alpha Hour podcast, where a couple of betas try to pretend like we're alpha. Real quick, I just need to apologize before you get into the video. My audio levels for this episode are not very good. We didn't realize until after the fact. We fixed it for future episodes, but I just wanted to say I am sorry. Please forgive us.
So, yeah, we're going to get into it here.
Molly, come
this
over
is
here.
Molly.
Yeah, this is my dog, Molly.
She'll be hanging out with us as well.
Do you guys mind if she says something?
No.
I guess? Okay.
She can do her part. So, yeah, what's new this week, boys?
Well, hold on. Since we have Molly here, we were just talking about... They were talking about how Molly's a good-looking dog, and I started to say that I've noticed that I will just stare at Molly constantly and be like, you are so she's just, there's some like beauty. Do you guys feel like that with your dog where you're like, you just look so good, I just cannot stop staring at you?
Yeah, they're awesome. They're awesome animals, and you love them. They're like, it is weird. I was reading something about just, obviously, like a lot of people know the story of like how dogs became what they are, just tons of artificial selection and getting the more friendly ones to keep going and blah, blah, blah. But one of the things that's very unique about them is their eyes. So a lot of animals don't have white on the outside of their eyes.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so they actually have a very human-looking eye compared to many other animals when you think about it. A lot of times you'll never see the white of their eye. Think about like a ton of other animals. You won't see the white of their eye. With dogs, you do. And so,
which one did you watch? Like, what was the show? Do you remember?
No.
That it was good, like going through like the whole, when they were wolves to like how like
wolves.
wolves.
It's wolves.
Wolf. But it was like, okay, it makes sense. Like, you know, they were like apex out there, like they could kill us in the woods if they really wanted to, but we threw them some meats, and they're like, oh, these guys are nice, and then slowly but surely we domesticated them, and if there was like a wild one that was disobedient, you just kind of like,
they bred it out.
Got them out.
It can be done quick.
They tried to breed that out of them.
Yeah.
There was a guy a Russian guy who did it with foxes, and it took him just a few generations, and he had tame foxes. So it can be done with a lot of animals. I think mammals are the obvious easiest. Like, you couldn't really do that with I guess you could do it with whatever you want, but it might take longer. But you couldn't do it with like a fish or a shark. You know what I mean? Like a true predator like that. I don't know if you could ever do it, but you can't. I mean, like,
probably slowly, but like
they've
just
had tame
like
tigers, but they're not like, they're as tame until they murder you.
Yeah, until they're
because like a lot of dogs still have their ears pointing up, but in terms of like being cute, like you don't think that's as cute sometimes. Like as they become more domesticated, the ears like got softer and down, which doesn't allow them to hear as good as they could. So if they were still out there on their own, they would have
they get
yeah.
Well, the evolutionary, there's not as much need for it. They really aren't as much in danger as they were. Now they're
just
hanging out in the house.
Cuter.
Yeah, and we've made them like all kinds of different things.
And there's I don't want to get into a little pit bull talk, but that's one breed, and I'm sure we would get a lot of crap about this, but that just freaks me out when I see them around kids.
Oh, it's nightmare.
I get worried. I think to myself, do you know what you're doing? Because
it takes one instance. The issue with them is that beyond the fact that they're just bred for violence, which is what they were, the same way that we can make them uber tame, we can also breed them for violence. And yeah, people will whine about it, but whatever. But it's the truth. I mean, if you just look at it statistically, like they have the most deaths by dog, and it's not even close.
When I did hear that. Yeah, they have a lot, but there's other breeds that have a lot. Have about the same amount. But the problem with pit bulls is that their jaws are so strong. They're so strong to where
in terms of
bites,
dog bites,
you have to shoot them to get them off.
Yeah, it's
no.
Like
dog
Blue
bites
could be
can
bad,
happen.
and like he's not gonna. Well,
Blue's your dog. Blue's your dog.
Yeah, Weimaraner. I mean, they were bred to. They're more or less bird hunting type dogs, but like a pit bull, if it overreacts, all it takes is one bite and. Ripping a 40-pound kid.
Yeah, they're incredibly strong.
Blue couldn't actually kill a kid unless like nobody was around for a long period of time.
There's a group.
Then he might eat the kid because he's hungry.
But there's truly a group of people that like just don't believe that to be true. This actually came up with my family. So
when you guys are picking dogs,
Kristen's dad, her son at the time lived with Kristen's dad. So we've been gone. This was like a couple years ago.
Kristen's your wife.
Kristen's my wife, and I have 3 young kids, and her son, so not her son, her brother and her dad, they adopted a pit bull off the street that they like didn't know anything about. The dog was like 1. And I was like, well, not letting my kids go around a dog that, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, you don't know the history.
Like, if there's a 0.2%.
Were they like, God, Uncle Al or whatever, such a freaking beta?
Well, no, I mean, my thing was like, if there's a 1 in 10,000, if there's a 1 in a million chance, I'd just be like, not even 1 in a million, because 1 in a million chance your dog could bite him and hurt him. But
or you getting a wreck on the way down North Carolina.
Right. So, it's one of those things. But if there's any chance, I'm not taking that chance when I don't have to. It's just a dumb thing that I don't have to do. So I called them one day, like before going there for Christmas or Thanksgiving. And I said, hey, I just want to talk to you about that dog. It's not something that I'm really comfortable with being around the kids. We just don't know it. Like, I'm happy to like either, he had a little barn in the back. I'm like, if you can keep it down there, if you want to board it, like I'll pay for it while we're there. I just don't really want a pit bull that hasn't been acclimated to children around my children. And like, it went terribly.
They were pissed?
Offended. And I'm like, he's like, that dog lives here. It's part of the family. I'm like, well, you can't like take it out when we're there. And he's like, well, it's just part of the family. And I'm like,
quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, Fully Loaded Tobacco-Free Chew. Check out the description of this video or the show notes to get 20% off your next order.
Okay, well, that's going to be up to you, but I'm not going to let the kids be around the dog.
Yes,
So would you like to see your grandkids, or would you like to hang out with the pit bull all day? Like, I'm not telling you to kill the dog. I'm asking you to put it outside
that's it.
for a day.
Yeah, if someone asked me, hey, even though Molly she's a sweetheart.
Exactly.
And they said, can you put the dog out for the day?
I'm uncomfortable with dogs.
Absolutely.
Yes.
100%.
I thought it was a weird response, but it's that same mentality where it's like, this dog, it's fine. It's like, I don't know, like, it's not, and what do you care anyway?
But any dog, and plus, any dog to a new person is it can be a little
Totally.
sketchy,
Yeah.
even though Molly's
And
great around kids,
right.
but if it's kind of sketch or people feel sketched out about it, I'd be like, okay.
Well,
I still find myself jumping at dogs, but then you get to know them. It's like, why was I ever scared of that dog?
What's your natural instinct?
Yeah, like even like Blue, like I can tell because he'll act tough. Like in the yard, I'll have him out with just his wireless collar thing on, and if somebody's walking like an old lady, his natural instinct is see somebody and he starts running at them, and they like freak out. I can tell they're standing like, oh, and I have to yell, he's fine, he's harmless, and they're still like, and then he'll go up and just start smelling their feet and like look up at them, wagging his tail, and like then they're like, okay, but you can just tell it is 100% fear through their body. So I guess, yeah, I get it, but the same thing with like being a dog lover though, like. The pit bull thing, I mean, I get it's your grandkids, but people love their fucking dogs. Like,
yeah,
like
I know the dog's been there for like a month. Either way, I love my dog. If someone was adamant that they didn't really want, it was just
you
a guest
will
at my
eventually
house.
draw the line in between a dog versus a human. But for some people, they just know it is a human. It would be like, no, it's like, hey, your son, my son doesn't like him, so when we come over, put him in the backyard. That's how they think of it. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's part of the family. I'm not putting my son in the backyard.
No, I know, and those people are called not very smart people.
But there's a lot of them. There's so
I
many
know.
people that are dog lovers.
What's crazy is you go down to like the South, and there is just culturally completely different. When I lived in North Carolina, I remember there was just so many people that like even having a dog inside was kind of like, what? Like a lot of people just have hunting dogs, and like
they
leave
just
them
leave them
outside
outside
the
all the
cage,
time.
and they hang out there. It's fine. Like Liv goes and rides my daughter goes and rides a horse, and there's 2 dogs. They just live outside there, and it's like, okay, like they're treated like an animal. We treat them like people.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm not saying one is right or one is wrong, but there's just different ways of looking at it, and I don't think either one's necessarily.
I think when they stay in that zone, they are more like an animal. Once they're domesticated, though, they're domesticated. Like Blue couldn't go out and like hunt on his own. Like
no,
no, none of our 3 dogs could at this point.
But like even this morning, I took Blue on a walk around the Portage Lakes area, and somebody just had it was like a pit bull mix. Like it was a mean motherfucker. They just had two very huge property, and they just had one of those wires attached. So it's on a leash thing, but it can run like a long way. And I didn't know. And this the growl and he's barking. He comes darting our way, and before it pulled back, because it wasn't that far from the road that we were on, I was like, "Oh my God, this is going down."
Did you I'd shove Blue right in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, Blue was kind of like, okay, like, no, like, what do I do? And once the dog was on a leash, then he's like, "Arr." But at first he was like, fuck.
Well, that natural reaction, I think, is normal, and it's built in. You know what I mean? Like, we have there's a reason when you look at a golden retriever and a pit bull, you have a different visceral reaction. It's not out of nothing.
Yeah, there's not
it's ingrained
the stigma
in you to know
isn't there for a reason.
Well, like when you usually go with your gut instinct, it's right a lot because you have like millions of years of genetics going through you that have told you, like, why does poop stink? Why does things look mean? Why do bears look mean? Why do some animals not look mean? Like, why are you not afraid of dolphins? Why are you afraid of sharks? They look really similar. Mm-hmm. It's because you've had this programmed in you for millions of years, and now you're here, and it's like, that's why that when you get that gut reaction to things, it's like, that's right. That's the correct response.
Yeah, I mean, you should have that with, well, our ancestors thousands of years ago, they were scared of everything because everything was out to basically demolish them.
Agree.
Destroy them. That's one thing that I've noticed. You know, a lot of Disney movies and things like that kind of play up animals or get people comfortable with being around animals, but the movies in real life are completely different.
Oh yeah.
I've been out in the woods where you're around actual bears and that moose. I sent you guys a video of and it's pretty scary because nature and animals
they don't care about you.
They don't give a f- Nope. They do not. And you don't realize it, really feel it until you're out there on your own in the middle of nowhere with very little help. And it's freaky.
Were you guys armed? So you did a trip into the woods. Did you take a gun?
We didn't take, no. We took the one trip to the Boundary Waters, we took bear spray. But still, when the two guys, I was on the trail at one point, they went back to go pick up some gear. So I was sitting there by myself and I heard a noise in the woods. And it was loud enough to where it sounded like it could be a bear. And I sat there by the water because I was by this water. And I thought to myself, Jarrad, you're just going to jump in. You're going to have to. Even
Bears
that thing
swim
probably.
just fine,
I know, but I'm better. I have a better chance in the water than in land.
Yeah.
But I've never had that feeling before. True fear.
Yeah.
Of, oh my God, I could get mauled by a bear. Even if I have bear spray, I don't even know that would stop them.
Well, you're right. We're so spoiled in society. Like, we come into contact with almost no animals that are going to hurt us, aside from pitbulls. But like, it's probably why we have that visceral reaction to them. But it's like, otherwise, man, like there is just nothing that we really come in contact with. But yes, if you go out in the woods and spent like a month in the woods,
you realize that whenever you see other animals like that out in the wild or on TV or people playing on TikTok with wolves and bear or lions and shit, you think to yourself, you're making a big mistake. I know you think you have that thing tamed, but those things are hardwired to just f anything up.
Well, they want to eat.
I know.
And like your juicy meat. They're going to want to kill you.
I just worry it sends the wrong signal to people that don't know that those things they're not nice. I even saw a coyote. Myself and Molly, we hike every morning, and the one morning I saw a coyote pass or go across the trail, and I legit got freaked out. I thought to myself, I'd never actually physically seen a coyote before. You see, it's like one of those things where, okay, you can see a spider on a screen, but and you're not scared, but when you see it in actual real life, you get freaked out.
Oh, yeah.
You realize what you're actually scared of when you see something in real life.
I get it.
It's nuts.
Well, you're like the coyote. You'd probably be all right with.
But
bears and whatnot.
Maybe not Molly.
No, because humans would scare them away, but dogs. Even if you're around, it might maul the dog.
Yeah, and they hunt in packs.
They get into it, and then that would be the other thing if they start coming at you in all different directions. But they're relentless. Like they'll just keep biting. That'll hurt. Like they're at your legs and whatnot. If they get you on the ground, you gotta You gotta get a rock and smash your skull in, probably. You're gonna be bouncing on you.
It would be tough. Like my manager at the company I just left, her dog got mauled by coyotes. So the coyotes, she had a large backyard, and at the very end of the backyard by some woods, there would be coyotes that would just sit there, and they would watch their house where her dog would go out and go to the bathroom. And she saw them for a couple weeks. And one night, when the dog was outside going to the bathroom, those coyotes, sure enough, they came in, mauled the dog to shit, and it died.
Yeah.
So they're
trying
Wolf
to
pack,
hunt.
baby.
No, it's like I think
It
we're
also
just so
shows you how
disconnected.
intelligent other species are. Anything that like works in packs, it's like they're smart. Like we think we have it all figured out with our technology and stuff. They think we're dumb. Like they gotta be like they're building houses and like all this shit. Like we live in paradise. I bet you that's what goes through their little brains. Like they stress about getting. Look at the guy. He's miserable every day going to his car, his fancy car. Like we don't need cars. We're living the life.
No, they're just like killing shit and eating it.
Yeah.
And then like they take naps.
Yeah. Like
Being
they
an
got it all
apex
figured
predator
out.
is a pretty kick-ass way to live.
I mean, maybe. Their lives exist to find food. That's it.
the hell do you think most of U.S. is? You've gone outside and looked at everybody lately?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we like just like that. You paid some money and did this whole thing, going on this retreat to be a part of the wild. Like there's like do this every day for fun.
Yeah.
Like every day's a vacation. I just pick a new home every day. Like nothing's ever the same.
Yeah, I own everything and nothing all at once. And like there's no stress. They're not worried about like their mortgage. They're worried about like.
But you'd imagine they're definitely going through some sort of stress as well.
Well, they're getting. That's what I'm saying. An apex predator is the ticket.
Yeah.
But
Like
when
when
you're the little coyote trying to prove your worth and like, God damn, like I'm not pulling my weight around here. That's probably their stress. But then they still get to eat the scraps until they grow up.
No, like a lion in the middle of the the Serengeti, just sitting there chilling. Like that lion is not worried about anything.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It doesn't have a fear of anything. Nothing will attack it. Like it's just like I'm gonna sit here until I want to kill something and eat it, and I'm gonna lay down and I'm gonna get some sun.
I did see a funny video. I think it was kind of like Lion King in real life. What was the Puma and Timon, the little wart
Timon
pig?
and Pumbaa.
Whatever. So
He's
this
just-
fucking pig goes up, like the lion's just like kind of like sitting there looking this way, and this pig out of nowhere, the one with the horns, like runs up and just spikes it in the ass and runs away, and the lion jumps up and is like, "What the f just happened?" That pig just run away. It's like that's like awesome.
It didn't go after it?
No, it was like so surprised. Like what the. And lions fuck with each other too. That's why I know they're having fun. Like where the female lion, I've seen videos where it goes up and it'll creep up and like and go up and just like whack the lion, and it's like "Arr!" And go at it. There's some fun out there. It's like good living. All right, so I got a topic. So my birthday's tomorrow, and I go through this
Happy
thing
birthday.
where it's like kind of dorky, but then like growing up, like you look forward to birthdays, and then you get like whatever age, and you're kind of like whatever, birthdays are lame. But then I think I'm actually getting to the age where like because my family's it's Labor Day weekend, we got fantasy football drafts, golf on. It's always like I don't know, guys, when like, but now I'm like I kind of appreciate the fact that they're like so like passionate about it and want to get together as a family. So now I'm like coming around to it. It's like, no, life's short. Like, gotta make time to do this family like birthday thing. But I still think it's kind of dorky. I'm in this in between stage. When you guys' birthdays come and go, do you do anything for them, or is it just like what the fuck ever? I'm another year.
Yeah, I mean dinner, but yeah, it's usually not of my behest. It's usually at the
Driven
request
by
of someone
The
else.
wife or the mom or
Yeah.
whatever.
It's usually something else. But yeah, I think that's normal.
Do
I
you
mean-
do stuff for your birthday?
No. My family doesn't live up here, so
Yeah.
my birthdays just come and go.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget when they are.
Yeah,
But
honestly,
it-
there's been times where like I've woken up and been like, oh shit, it's my birthday. Like when you look at you know what I mean. There's just times you.
I know. I feel like I have to do it more for like them. Like, all right, guys, like this is what. So we're gonna
It's
do
an
something finally
excuse
on
to
Monday.
do something. You know, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hang out
get
with
the
the family.
family together,
It's
and
an
that's the other
event.
thing too. Like people, lives get busy.
When
Like when you're young, responsibilities I guess are less. So like every birthday was like your parents drive it. All the siblings are gonna get together, but your brothers and sisters start having kids and their own families, and they got sporting events. It's like almost impossible to get everyone together. Everyone's got job and work, but it's like they're all like trying to like find a day for us to get together, and I'm like, I gotta make this happen. So we're doing it on Monday, but I'm like, is this weird at the age of 38 that you're still trying to do this stuff?
I don't think it is, because I think at this point it kind of becomes an excuse for you guys to all do something together.
Yeah.
Plus, you like your family. Your family, from the outside looking in, like your family's awesome to hang out with.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
they're actually terrible in real life. No, I'm joking.
I didn't think we were supposed to tell people. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I would feel weird. I don't like attention being on me. Do you feel like you don't like the attention being on you?
Well, it's kind of nice because this gets buried. It's just like, no, it's a Labor Day / they'll throw on an ice cream cake or something and be like, oh yeah, Sean turned.
It's an excuse.
But like, I do. Those are my favorite holidays. Like Thanksgiving when there's no presents, or like a July 4th where it's just like, let's cook out and get together and hang out in nice weather. So Labor Day's almost like that nowadays. I feel like the summer just extends to the end of September now. So it's like a cookout / hangout. About, hey, do you have a fancy football draft? Yeah, who'd you get? That's what it ends up being.
Yeah,
it's fun.
It's a good thing.
Do you get gifts from your family still?
Not really. Like last year, it's usually like it's stuff that I really appreciate though. Like my dad last year, as a birthday present from him and my parents, he redid my railings on my deck, took out those spindles and put in that.
That's a good
wire.
gift.
That's a really good gift.
And he came over and did the work and everything. I was like, you the man. I mean, I helped him a little bit, but he engineered the whole thing. I was like, this is great. It was like a huge upgrade to my deck. Mm-hmm. So stuff like that, like he'll probably ask, like, so got any projects you want to help me with? And I'll figure something out.
Oh yeah, those are good gifts.
Yeah.
Do you get well? You have a family, and your kids are probably kids.
No, I mean
probably
little
like
stuff.
It's
usually like beer or something. But yeah, that reminds me of this thing that my wife was showing me where it's like, you heard of the love languages?
Oh my God,
yeah.
I didn't look into it, but I've had women tell me about it.
Oh, it's like a total woman thing, but like it is. I mean, they describe it in a way that it's accurate, only because like, of course it is. Like you're just picking out 5 different things people express their love, but that was one of them where it was like acts, and that's how I am too. Like I'm not gonna come out and be like, oh, I love you, like blah blah blah, like. You know, like there's the heartfelt kind of people. There's people that give true gifts, which I'm like repulsed by.
Wait, what do you mean? Oh, and define true gift. Like
they'll go give you a gift.
Like, hey, Al, here's a 6-pack of beer.
Not even that. Like, hey, I'll give you here's a new speaker.
Okay.
Like something that doesn't really mean anything to you.
Yeah,
but it's kind of. But then there's the act of like doing something for someone to show you that you love them, and that's like the one where I'm like. I took the test and everything, but it was funny. Like, and I think about it, and I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I do. Like, I like when I try to help my wife out, like I'll clean the whole house, or I'll do like those kind of things where it's like showing your love versus like saying your love, or presenting it in a gift or whatever.
I figured you were one lovey-dovey guy.
Yeah. But that's what your dad's doing for you. Your dad's love language is...
I was breaking down everybody's love language. This girl tried to get me to do that one time before. It was early on in the relationship, and I said, I'm not doing that.
It's so weird.
I said, I'm not doing that.
You know
You're
what?
married, so you kind of have to, but like me, I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
The test was long. It took me like 10 minutes. I thought it was going to be like 8 questions. It was like a
they ask you the
interview.
same question like 60 different times. But
in different ways,
Meg
right.
did a personality test on me with that because she was going to have her team at Target do it. And I was like, this is the same question over and over and over and over, but it's just like changing a few situations.
I think they're trying to get you, they're trying to like eliminate you from just doing what you want.
Yeah.
But I know so many of those questionnaires like that are just, like you almost, if you're thinking about it, you can just tell what they're trying to get the answer.
Yes, you can manipulate the results.
If you wanted to.
Yeah,
it's like, there's not a right or wrong answer. You know what I mean? Like, and if you look at it, you're like, oh, well, this is clearly for the love language of giving or whatever. Like, would you rather get a gift or give a gift? It's like, okay, well, I see what we're doing here. You know what I mean? So it's like in all those sorts of just questionnaires like that for a personality or this or that, I'm always like, answering questions, and then you're actually hoping that someone's going to answer a question accurately and not lie, because pretty much not everyone, but a lot of people just have like this inability to not stop lying all the time.
Yeah, you almost have to give the tests like now and then a year after that, year after that.
But like I feel like I could just tell you like, all right, like my wife she likes to say things. You know what I mean? Like I didn't really need some test to validate.
Yeah.
But
what do you mean by your wife likes to say things?
She wants to express her love through words.
So she'll be like, I love you, I love you, I love you, and you'll just be like, okay, I'm going to go vacuum.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. Doesn't mean I don't love her. I'm just showing it a different way. That's what I try to describe to her.
Yeah, that could probably reduce a lot of frustration people have in the world, is if they actually understood that, like, yeah, that love language, like, everyone is different.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There's value there. I agree.
Like,
with you.
okay, you're not telling me you love me, that means you don't love me.
Right.
Well, it's like, well,
But if
stop.
you understand,
yeah.
like, hey, like,
stop for a second.
right.
Because I've dated some women who were crazy about that kind of stuff, and I'm like,
It's not my love language, sweetie.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't think.
Next time that happens, be like, okay, I'm gonna give you a test.
That's not my love language.
That's a great excuse.
Yeah, like I'm not a emotional, vocal love language person. I'm a doer. I do things for you.
That's a great idea.
It's a fantastic idea. But when you think about it in that sense, you're right, because it actually is somewhat useful. Because I remember when she said that, I was like, because I took that test and I showed it to her, and I'm like, see, I love you. I do stuff all the time. Like, because always, like, my gifts are like, I'll redo the bathroom. Like, that just, and I never thought about it in the context of this being a love language, but that's what I do. And then when she showed it hers to me, I was like, yeah, you just want to talk about it all the time. And then she's like, well, yeah, but now you understand, like, I'll do things for you as like a way to show you my love, but you have to start saying things for me. And I'm like, that ain't happening.
Yeah,
I am not about to. I can't do it. It feels weird.
it is.
I think you could.
I feel
your
I don't know,
love
man.
language is that.
Like, I feel kind of like PDA, public display of affection.
Ugh.
I just think it's gross.
It's awful.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
we're
know.
not saying in public. We're just saying behind closed doors. Like, baby, I love you. You complete me.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Maybe. My relationships haven't gotten to that point to where, like, I would say that. I don't know. Like, so for me, it's still the question's still out.
You know what? I think we take the love language test.
And
then we really evaluate
it on the podcast.
That would actually be hilarious. We should all take one and then talk about it.
Oh,
And talk about our love languages.
That'd be the thing ever.
And if you wanted to make it we could talk about it in the context of our relationships with each other.
Yeah, that should be like the lead off. Okay, for Alpha Hour today, we're doing the love language.
Yeah, we gotta pull in the female audience.
Yeah.
Boys, come on,
There
ladies.
is nothing that gets men's testosterone pumping more than talking about the love language.
My hard just thinking about it. God, I might.
For those guys though that do, like, I think we're all somewhat similar in that respect. We're not like mushy gushy, but like some of the guys can like really do well because
Doing that.
They're
they're
able to just say I don't care, like I'll do and say these things. Whether or not they actually feel it or not, I don't know. But some of these guys are sleazeballs at the end of the day. But they're having a
leaning
good
into
time.
Are
Let's
you
put it that
saying
way.
these guys are faking their love language?
Yeah. Probably.
That's just sick.
Or they love a lot of women. I mean, but they do well.
Thanks for checking out this podcast. Please make sure to hit that thumbs up button before you go. If you want to watch us continue the conversation, then click on this video to your left next. Quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, Fully Loaded Tobacco-Free Chew. Check out the description of this video or the show notes to get 20% off your next order.